No? Greetings from Brazil. Dear audience and panelists, welcome to the last panel of the 8th GEBRICS USP conference. Our panel is the Inclusive Multilateralism and Global Governance, the role of BRICS+. Before we start, I'd like to give you some important information. For those who want to obtain a certificate, please fill in the form in the video description. Questions will be answered at the end of each panel if there is time. And I invite you to attend the closing conference section that will be at 2 p.m. in the same link. So I will talk now a little bit about the themes that will be explored in this panel. The panel on inclusive multilateralism and global governance will address the influence and role of BRICS+ in promoting sustainability in global economy in a multipolar world order. BRICS+ offers an alternative platform for emerging nations to find alternative ways of combating income inequality, trade imbalances, and currency domination, promoting a fairer global system. It also brings opportunities for its members to enter new markets, attract foreign investment, and improve their trade relations. However, while the BRICS+ shares experience of marginalization, it is expected that cooperation amongst their members, despite internal differences, driven by shared perceptions and goals, can contribute to relevant global issues as climate change and sustainable development. The discussion about the challenges presented by cultural diversity and the educational approaches among its members, which may seem a priori as barriers, may, on the other hand, create a positive effect by the synergy in the emergence of new leaders and professionals. So I wish you a great conference, and I will start with our first distinguished panelist. Monica Williams is an analyst and research in international relations, with over 30 articles published in Arabic and English opinion columns at several websites and think tanks. She has made significant contributions to public work and political life in Egypt. And additionally, she has contributed as a speaker during the sections of the Egyptian National Dialogue. Monica will bring to the discussion the important role of BRICS+ in offering opportunity to tap into new markets, attract foreign investments, and enhancing trade relations in a way that will not only benefit Egypt's economy, but to also promote regional integration among its BRICS members, as well as its role in promoting the economic diversity amongst them. So, Monica, thank you for joining us. The floor is yours.
Hello, thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us from around the world. It's a true honor to be here virtually with such distinguished representatives from Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and beyond. As you talk, and as we know, after World War II, the multilateral system was designed to promote international peace, drive economic growth, and ensure global cooperation through different ways, so, whether through treaties and agreements with the aim of achieving shared prosperity. But following this, however, cracks are beginning to appear within this system. The world has witnessed a sharp increase in geopolitical crisis, withdrawal from treaties and trade, and backsliding democracies, and so on. So the multilateral system has also failed to deliver a comprehensive solution to global issues. While challenges remain as inequalities within the multilateral system become increasingly apparent, calls for change are starting to appear across the global South. Countries, particularly those in Africa, they face the most significant climate crisis risks, and so on. And today, inclusive multilateralism represents a critical shift in global governance, allowing for more balanced representation of diverse interests As I guess in an increasingly interconnected world, the importance of inclusive multilateralism and effective global governance has come to the forefront, being a platform for emerging economies to voice their concerns and contribute to global decision making. As traditional power dynamics shift, emerging economies on the other side are seeking greater representation and influence in global decision-making process. The potential for this coalition to create different approach to make global governance more equitable by prioritizing collaboration, equity, and sustainability. Among these, BRICS and the expanded BRICS Plus give a clear example for this trend, as it can play vital role and prominent role in addressing the complex challenges of current era, paving the way for a more inclusive and resilient global order. So, in another word, for countries in the global south, the BRICS present alternative route to unlocking, developing finance, and increasing trade and investment. And according to World Bank Global Development Indicators, BRICS bloc has been successful in achieving significant economic growth during the previous 20 years, as the share of its economies in world output climbed from 17.8% to 25.7% between 2010 and 2022. In terms of their involvement on the world, the BRICS bloc nations are funding ambitious initiatives like China Belt and Road Initiative, in addition to creation of 100 smart cities connected to express train in India, and so on. So the BRICS nations are looking to use their currencies in trade exchange, or to start using a different unified currency for the member of the bloc in an effort to find alternative to the dollar-based trading system. Due to rapid growth, the bloc will account for nearly 43% of the world oil production, nearly 30% of the global gross domestic product. So this places the bloc, and this introduction places a strong position to influence world politics in the years to come. And in this regard, let me share with you the in 3 minutes, or probably more than that, shed light on Egypt perspective to BRICS Plus and the joining, why it's seek to BRICS and BRICS Plus. Lately, Egypt seeks to enhance its international standing and economic development by exploring new partnerships. Recent global shifts have highlighted the importance of engaging with emerging markets. One of the most significant steps in this direction is its effort to join BRICS group. This move reflects Egypt's commitment to fostering multilateral collaboration and improving global governance, and being more open, consolidating the mutual interest. By leveraging this form, Egypt can diversify its economy, attract necessary investment, and enhance its role in regional integration. In a rapidly changing local landscape, such strategic alliances are essential for building a resilient economy that benefits not only Egypt but also its partner in BRICS Plus framework. We can outline the dimension of potential collaboration as follows. I see its potential for expanding market access, which is considered one of the key advantages of Egypt's involvement in BRICS Plus. The BRICS Plus nation represent a significant portion of world population and economic output. By fostering ties with these countries, Egypt can diversify its export from one hand, reducing reliance on traditional partners. This diversification is crucial for enhancing economic resilience particularly in time of global uncertainty. On the other side, attracting foreign direct investment, it's a very critical driver of economic and of Egyptian economic growth as well. BRICS plus nations are increasingly looking to invest in emerging markets with high growth potential. So Egypt is a has a strategic location, youthful population, and ongoing economic reforms make it an attractive destination for investors. By aligning with BRICS Plus, Egypt can only attract investment from member countries, but also benefit from technology transfer and best practices that can enhance in local industries. So we have another dimension, which is enhancing the trade relations. The BRICS Plus initiative promotes trade relations that can lead to mutually beneficial agreement. Egypt participation in this framework can help streamline trade process, reduce tariffs, and enhance cooperation in various sectors, including agriculture, manufacturing, and services and technology. Strengthening these trade ties will only benefit Egypt economy, but also foster a sense of regional connectivity among BRICS members. So it has creates for both Egypt and BRICS countries to expand their markets and diversify their economies. Moreover, there is another dimension, which is promoting regional integration. BRICS Plus framework encourage regional integration, which is very prominent for economic and sustainable economic development, if we can say. By collaborating with other emerging economies, Egypt can play a prominent role in promoting economic diversity and stability within the region. This integration can lead to joint ventures, shared infrastructure projects, collaborative research initiatives like our session now, all of which can enhance Egypt's standing in global economy. In this context, we can see the importance of BRICS as a prominent platform for growth and development, especially in light of the rising geopolitical tension in the region nowadays. As BRICS plays mitigate the impact of external economic shock on the internal economies of member states due to the diversification achieved through cooperation in production and surplus transfer, as well as the potential for opening new market within the bloc for exports. The cooperation also aimed to lessen the foreign currency challenging facing the Egyptian state recently or at this moment. And on the other side, on the diplomatic level, it will strengthen diplomatic and multilateral cooperation. Align positions and strengthens the collective voice of the global South on issues of international significance, such as reform of global governance institutions. And the most important point I seen, especially nowadays, it's to collaborate on the development and implementation of joint initiatives that address global challenges, given that the group and BRICS start to expand focus beyond economic matters. Especially yesterday, we can notice that BRICS countries start promote the political solution of hot spot issues and respect each other internal legitimate concerns. They take a lead speaking on the justice and handling affairs, and this actually we noticed yesterday at the summit Kazan declaration. It supports Egypt Qatar efforts to reach immediate ceasefire in Gaza.
Mm.
So it's not focused about its economic matter. It's start to focus on and expand focus beyond this issue, or it's just economic and trade and promoting a global economy system. Finally, it facilitates culture exchange, people and people interaction to deepen mutual understanding and trust between Egypt and BRICS and within among member states. Finally, there are prominent opportunity for the bloc, for sure. We can build on it for the next years. Group geopolitical role with the inclusion of three emerging major powers, China, Russia, India. The geographical expansion of the BRICS countries is also, it's a very strength point to include countries from different continents, Asia, Africa, and Latin America, Europe. Another one is the economic influence and the economic position of the group. As we know that its a global share is 32% of global GDP. And I guess Egypt will also play a bigger role in the area as a result of its membership in BRICS, which is benefit in all front and variety of its file concern, including the water issue. So the bulk of the bloc members, particularly China, Russia, and South Africa, have sway over Ethiopia's decision-making process and the power to exert pressures that could persuade Addis Ababa to more flexible in its stance while negotiating with Egypt and Sudan. The group actually includes three of the world's largest energy producers, giving it significant influence in global energy security field, which is we suffer nowadays. It's a global issue nowadays. On the other side, the bloc has set up the new development bank to mobilize resources for infrastructure and the sustainable development project is in emerging markets and developing countries. So as more members join the bloc or group, the success of BRICS institution will depend on the ability to fund and support the goals of existing and new members. Finally, by diversifying their economies and fostering a stronger cooperation at all levels, member states of the BRICS may be able to support their economy and to reap the greater benefits as a result of organization growth and structural strengthening. So thank you so much for having me today.
Wow. Monica, thank you very much for your participation, and thank you for your thoughts. You know, you bring into the fore topics very important related to the need to the finance of the development. You know, the important role that BRICS Development Bank can represent for developing countries, and I guess important point that you bring to us is the important role that BRICS can represent in terms of peace promotion around the world. I guess if you don't have peace, you won't be able to promote development
yes,
or anything else. You know, so I thank you very much for your presentation and to show us your perceptions about the important role of BRICS Plus. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's start. Let's start with our second guest. I'd like to introduce you, Dr. Thomas Law. Dr. Thomas Law is a lawyer, doctor of commercial law by PUC São Paulo. And I don't know. Okay, President of the National Coordination of Brazil and China Relations of the Brazilian Lawyers Organization, President of China, IBCJ, and legal consultant of the BRICS parliamentary fronts, Latin America and Brazil-China. Here we discuss topics such as green economy, sustainability, climate change, and global economic recovery post-pandemic through multilateralism. Here we highlight the relevance of the G20 meeting that will be held in Brazil, which is considered an important forum for discussing global economic governance. In addition, issues of international law, the UN Charter, and the rules of multilateral system of international trade will be discussed. Welcome, Dr. Thomas Law. I'd like to ask you to join us. Monica, I guess you must leave.
Hey.
So, Doctor. Oh, thank you. Please, Dr. Thomas.
Thank you, Renata. Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning,
Thank
everybody.
You very much for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning,
Okay.
bom dia. Good
dia.
morning to all the speakers, Renata, Natalia, Monica, Sarah, and Douglas. And I'll speak in Portuguese because I have very fresh in my mind. I had yesterday an interview with a journalist talking about the BRICS meeting. So I'll speak in Portuguese. Bom dia a todos. Eu vou falar, o meu tema hoje é sobre multilateralismo e governança global. Esse é um tema que está sendo muito discutido em inúmeros fóruns multilaterais, e a gente aqui está destacando, além da cúpula dos BRICS, esse ano no Brasil teremos o G20, que vai ser agora realizado no mês de novembro. Então, são eventos assim que são discutidos temas importantes sobre a governança global com muitos países, e eu queria destacar a importância da voz do Sul Global. A gente tem... Eu fui para Nova York recentemente em eventos com o CGI e o Concordia Summit, e você vê pouca presença de países latino-americanos em eventos de Nova York, eventos americanos, e também eu acho que é importante que haja uma voz do Sul Global. Então, essa voz do Sul Global está se formando também pelos países dos BRICS, e nessa esteira, além do Brasil, que é um grande país, que tem um grande território, também tem energias renováveis, quase que 50% das suas energias são energias renováveis. O Brasil, este ano, celebra com a China os 50 anos das relações diplomáticas, Renata. Então, tivemos em Brasília, tivemos apresentações de shows artísticos, culturais, que nunca teve desse jeito, em eventos como cidades em São Paulo, Brasília, Campinas. Tivemos 3 grupos gigantes, quase que 100 pessoas vieram da China para o Brasil para essa celebração dos 50 anos. E como a gente percebe, já vê há algum tempo, e é notório que a China, como o maior parceiro do Brasil, ele tem as trocas comerciais que geraram em torno do ano passado mais de 170 bilhões de trocas econômicas. Você percebe que esse incremento dessas relações está aumentando. E aí eu cito alguns exemplos, como recentemente a visita da cidade de Tianjin na cidade de São Paulo. Agora, São Paulo é cidade irmã de Tianjin, fruto de um trabalho através de um projeto de lei da Câmara Municipal. Eu visitei Tianjin alguns 2 anos atrás, e lá, na ocasião, eu falei que era importante que houvesse, não só no aspecto comercial, mas também no aspecto em que as cidades fossem irmanadas, até para atração de investimentos. Então, isso aconteceu. Esse projeto foi levado à Câmara Municipal de São Paulo, foi aprovado no ano passado e sancionado pelo prefeito Ricardo Nunes, e este ano, muito felizmente, recebemos, então, a delegação de Tianjin para a cidade de São Paulo, e tivemos uma grande celebração na Câmara Municipal e depois um fórum muito interessante, discutindo as relações diplomáticas, discutindo também as relações econômicas de Tianjin com São Paulo. Eu cito Tianjin por quê? Porque quando você analisa a China, Renata, você tem 4 cidades que têm contato com a administração direta do governo central. Você tem Shanghai, você tem Pequim, você tem Tianjin e você tem Chongqing. Então, são essas 4 cidades que você está falando diretamente com o governo central da China e, evidentemente, isso potencializa essas relações bilaterais. Inclusive, a própria empresa Embraer, todos conhecem que é uma empresa de tecnologia de aviação brasileira, que é uma empresa super gigante, está baseado com sede em Tianjin. E discutindo com os empresários nesse fórum de debates, o próprio presidente, o vice-presidente da Embraer, Fernando Oliveira, ele comentou que lá na China eles estão desenvolvendo também os aviões elétricos, ou seja, aviões híbridos e aviões elétricos e VTOLs, na verdade são drones, totalmente elétricos, Renata, para entrega de produtos, de delivery de mercadorias, de remédios. Então, você vê que a China e o Brasil, até na parte da tecnologia, estão desenvolvendo projetos bem interessantes nesse sentido. Então, falando um pouquinho do Brasil nesse aspecto, é importante destacar que o Brasil também tem uma política nova, que é a política da neoindustrialização. Isso através do MIDIC, do Ministério de Indústria e Serviços, que é liderado pelo Dr. Geraldo Alckmin, e ele ocupa 2 cargos. Ele ocupa tanto o Ministério de Desenvolvimento, Indústria e Serviços, como também ele é o vice-presidente do Brasil. Então, este ano, na celebração dos 50 anos, além das celebrações que ocorreram no mês de agosto, em junho, o próprio vice-presidente do Brasil, Dr. Geraldo Alckmin, que é o presidente do COSBAN, que é o alto nível de concertação entre o Brasil e a China, ele levou uma comitiva muito forte para a China este ano para falar com o vice-presidente da China, que é o senhor Han San. E lá eles discutiram as pautas e também um aprimoramento desse diálogo de alto nível entre os 2 países. Foram muitos ministros do Brasil, como a ministra Simone Tebet, de Planejamento, foi também o ministro do Agronegócio, o ministro Carlos Fávaro, ministro também Márcio França, sobre as pequenas e médias empresas, como que a gente poderia fazer a integração do pequeno e médio empreendedor brasileiro com pequeno e médio empreendedor chinês, como é que a gente poderia fazer esse diálogo, e também pessoas importantes como o empresariado e a PEX. Então, também tive a oportunidade de participar desta viagem com o Dr. Geraldo Alckmin e foi, nesta ocasião, celebrado uma venda sobre o café brasileiro, ou seja, a exportação do café brasileiro também já deu um salto para a venda para a Luckin Coffee, que é uma startup chinesa que também é um grande concorrente da Starbucks na China. Então, você vê que além desses, você vê o fortalecimento dessas relações comerciais Brasil-China, mas quando a gente trata disso tudo, nada mais é do que o multilateralismo. Então, quando você pega o Brasil e a China, que são os 2 países que estão lá nos BRICS, o que a gente percebe muito é a defesa da paz mundial e também do comércio internacional. E aí eu cito o exemplo da paz mundial porque o próprio Brasil agora pediu na cúpula dos BRICS para que não escale mais na guerra. O ministro Mauro Vieira falou isso agora recentemente. O Brasil também se posicionou no Conselho da ONU, né? Quando a gente vê a Carta da ONU, o Brasil também se posiciona no Conselho de Segurança pedindo paz, para que não haja guerra. Então, mesmo assim, isso daí foi vetado, mas eu acho que o Brasil faz um papel importante, Renata, de trazer os players para uma discussão. Antes do Dr. Geraldo Alckmin ir para a China este ano, quem foi para a China este ano também? Celso Amorim. Então, o Celso Amorim vai para a China, conversa com a parte chinesa e tenta fazer um diálogo para a paz mundial também no conflito da Rússia com a Ucrânia. Então, você vê que as tentativas são muito válidas, evidentemente que são conflitos bélicos, conflitos armados, mas eu acho que o papel do Brasil nesse cenário ele é muito importante, porque o Brasil, como a gente percebe, é um país que tem uma estrutura, é um país gigante, mas também, ao mesmo tempo, falta a sua estrutura, e a sua estrutura na questão de rodovias, ferrovias, o melhoramento dos portos. E aí a gente entra numa pauta importante, Renata, que é a questão do bloco latino-americano. Se a gente pensar hoje no Brasil, e uma das discussões que vão ser travadas nos próximos meses, é o porto do Peru de Xangai. O porto de Peru de Xangai, ele está pronto, ele vai ser lançado em 2025, vai ter um lançamento oficial. No G20 vai ter uma discussão no Brasil, no Rio de Janeiro, sobre a governança global, né, uma reforma da governança global, mas depois disso vai ter a reunião da APEC, do Asian Pacific Economic Cooperations. E nesses 21 países que o Brasil não faz parte, vai ser discutido também a Rota da Seda, a nova Rota da Seda, vai ser discutido essa ida do Pacífico, esse trâmite dos contêineres, dos barcos, de uma outra rota, e o Brasil foi convidado para discutir o tema. Então, eu acho que isso é muito válido, porque o Brasil ele está numa posição estratégica, ele é o maior país do sul global na América Latina, e ele tem tudo para crescer, mas isso depende muito da sua cooperação pragmática, né? Vai depender muito da sua forma de negociar esse Belt and Road, né? Nessa adesão, se eventualmente tiver essa discussão, e eu creio que isso vai ser um papel muito importante para o Brasil. E aí, falando na importância dos portos, eu queria ressaltar o Porto de Santos. O Porto de Santos, hoje, ele é o maior porto da América Latina. Ele já tem 2 grandes investidores no Porto de Santos. O Porto de Santos é o lugar onde tem a questão da segurança alimentar, onde sai praticamente os commodities brasileiros para regiões da Ásia, da Europa e também de outros países. E lá tem 2 empresas gigantes, Renata, de investimentos que estão fazendo lá. Uma é a DP Road, que é de Dubai, né? Então você vê lá que existe um investimento muito grande lá, inclusive na questão da celulose, os papéis, esse fornecimento de papéis saem por lá. E você vê uma outra empresa muito grande, que é uma empresa chinesa, que é a COFCO, que está fazendo um grande investimento no Porto de Santos, está com uma área totalmente nova, reformando os prédios antigos, e você vê também esse fortalecimento do Porto de Santos através dessas 2 grandes empresas. Então, o que eu queria ressaltar é que o Brasil, no seu rating atual, ele melhorou. A gente tem o arcabouço fiscal, que se for mantido esse arcabouço fiscal, a gente tem também o desafio da reforma tributária, mas o Brasil tem as suas instituições com credibilidade e o seu rating aí de investimentos estrangeiros para o Brasil aumentou. E eu queria falar disso porque realmente o Brasil tem muitos pontos, muitos gargalos que podem ser investidos como uma parceria estratégica. Uma outra questão que eu queria ressaltar, que eu ouvi nesse último debate, que merece um destaque, foi com o pessoal da agência brasileira, além da Apex, foi do pessoal daqui do Brasil, para falar da questão da sustentabilidade. Existem agora programas de pastagem no Brasil, que se empresários ou empresas estrangeiras quiserem fazer esse programa de pastagem, também a Embrapa está ajudando. Eu acho que é um trabalho bacana de você pensar na sustentabilidade, e o Brasil está muito aberto para isso. Ou seja, A gente sabe que tem muitas áreas sendo prejudicadas pela questão climática, Renata, e o Brasil também está olhando com muita cautela essas ações de natureza climática. Então, eu tenho certeza que, se tiver parceiros comerciais nesse sentido, isso ajudaria muito. Eu acho que é isso. A gente tem um grande desafio pela frente, que é o COP30. O COP30 vai ser, teoricamente, a discussão sobre a sustentabilidade e economia verde, vai ser no Belém de Pará. Está tendo uma discussão se a sede teria que ser lá, porque também tem uma questão de infraestrutura, que acho que o governador Helder vai tentar viabilizar essa questão, mas eu acho que o Brasil está realmente com essa pauta muito importante da questão das mudanças climáticas envolvidas muito nisso. E o Brasil tem um trabalho muito importante, Renata, e que é bom que a gente fale para todos nesse BRICS painel, é o recebimento de muitos imigrantes e refugiados. Recentemente eu falei com o coronel e o comandante da base aérea daqui de Guarulhos, comandante Macedo, e a gente está recebendo muitos libaneses depois dessa guerra. Os libaneses estão vindo para o Brasil, estão sendo acolhidos no Brasil, e cada vez mais o Brasil se torna um país muito mais multifacetário, muito mais internacional. Temos venezuelanos também vindo de Roraima, no estado do norte, mas também existe uma preocupação com o governo brasileiro de também trazer eles para outros estados e saber acolher melhor esses imigrantes. Então, a gente tem um grande desafio de um lado, que é a nova imigração dos refugiados de guerra, refugiados de ações climáticas, climate refugees, e agora o Brasil como um país da América Latina, um bloco latino-americano. Como é que a gente faz essa integração regional e a gente tenta ajustar tanto a capacitação para o novo mercado de trabalho, porque a gente sabe que tem inteligência artificial muito envolvido nesse cenário, a gente sabe dos usos das novas tecnologias na fabricação e na manufatura, e como é que o Brasil vai ser um país mais receptivo para investimentos estrangeiros, para o turismo nacional e internacional, e como a gente consegue aumentar mais renda e emprego através da infraestrutura brasileira, que pode ser melhorada em todos os seus trechos, não só no estado de São Paulo, que é o maior estado da América Latina também, mas também o maior estado do Brasil. E como é que a gente faz essas ligações, então, dessa parte do Brasil para o outro lado do Pacífico, economizando aí os seus custos de transação no transporte de mercadorias para ganhar mais eficiência na entrega das coisas e também ter uma relação mais dinâmica e mais comercial nessas relações globais. Eu não estou escutando, Renata.
Agora me ouve?
Sim.
Ok, muito obrigada, doutor Lau. Eu gostaria de aproveitar a oportunidade, né, que o senhor tem uma visão tão ampla das relações Brasil-China, e perguntar-lhe sobre a opinião, sua opinião sobre o ingresso do Brasil na iniciativa Cinturão em Rota, né, a nova Rota da Seda. O senhor vê aspectos positivos, negativos? Como é que o senhor vê? Há uma certa resistência ou não? Como é que o senhor acha que há probabilidade do Brasil entrar realmente, fazer parte da iniciativa Cinturão em Rota?
Renato, eu acho que o Brasil precisa estudar os cases de sucesso e insucesso do Cinturão da Rota, em primeiro lugar. Em segundo lugar, o Brasil tem que se posicionar em relação a isso. Eu acho que é bom para o Brasil, né? A gente tem que ver como é que vai fazer essa interligação rodoviária, ferroviária, mas a gente sabe que também, para se ter isso, a gente tem que ter uma unanimidade, porque a gente tem um governo federal e a gente tem um governo dos estados. Como que essa rota vai servir também para ajudar todos os estados brasileiros? Acho que tem que ter uma unanimidade, uma conversa, um diálogo com todos os players, inclusive os governadores do Brasil e também com o governo federal. Então, assim, eu acho que ele é muito... Você vê casos de sucesso, e eu acho que tem quando a gente fala do Belt and Road, a questão fundamental do Belt and Road, na verdade, é o direito do desenvolvimento, né? Quando a gente pensa no direito do desenvolvimento, seria trazer também, além de uma logística conveniente para os países, para as partes, para as pessoas, como é que essa mudança econômica, como é que essa mudança de infraestrutura pode ajudar a economia brasileira e como que pode ajudar as pessoas a se desenvolverem nesse entorno, que talvez seja um entorno em algumas regiões degradadas. Então, como é que você consegue transferir essas regiões degradadas em regiões mais modernizadas, revitalizadas? Então, esse é um grande desafio do governo brasileiro, mas eu acho que, se de um lado você tem um projeto que é vencedor em muitos países e que pode ser acoplado no Brasil, acho que vale a pena uma tentativa, mas de uma forma muito coerente, muito política, muito cautelosa e que também gere emprego para as empresas brasileiras, para os empreiteiros brasileiros, e gere de uma forma muito harmoniosa.
Muito obrigada, doutor Ló. Eu preciso pedir a gentileza de descompartilhar aí a sua imagem, por favor, para que eu possa entrar. Obrigada.
Renata, eu vou sair daqui, eu vou entrar pelo meu celular, tá? Depois.
Tudo bem.
Obrigado.
Obrigada. Ok. Okay. Let me introduce you now our third distinguished panelist, that is Dr. Douglas Castro. Professor Douglas Castro is professor of international law in the School of Law, Lanzhou University, visiting scholar in the Foundation for Law and International Affairs in Washington, a licensed professor of international law and politics at Umbra University, that is located in Orlando. Professor Douglas Castro will approach in his speech entitled BRICS and the Global South, Confronting the Legacies of Colonialism and Global Governance, the Rise of BRICS, which represents a push for more equitable global governance in response to growing inequality and marginalization. The BRICS, though diverse, share experience of marginalization and seek to reshape international order by promoting a fairer global system. It argues that their cooperation can address challenges like climate change and sustainable development, driven by shared perceptions and goals despite internal difference. Please welcome Dr. Castro. It's a pleasure to have you with us. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Renata, for the invitation and greetings from Lanzhou, China. It's my pleasure to be here with you this morning, night, or whatever time your zone you are, to share my research with you. Just a can you see my screen? Okay.
Okay. Yes, you are seeing.
Okay.
Okay, you are seeing your screen.
Okay. So basically, this is part of my research that I apply under a international relations theory. I apply constructivism, and under international law, the application of third world approaches to international law. Let me give you some context about my topic today. There is a frustration regarding the expectations of developing countries in the Bretton Woods institutions. It looks like it's not working, and not just in terms of inequality, but also climate change, for example. I can name that. Also, International Monetary Fund structural adjustments that we know way, unfortunately, good in Brazil, in Latin America, and the global North abandonment during COVID-19. So this brought this resentment among global South countries, which is a movement traced back to the Bandung Conference in 1955, which led to the rise of the global South. It is a symbol of resistance to inequality and also to the neoliberalism stance that we observe in the world today. The BRICS plus, here is just some figures just to give us some context as well. It represents 3.25 billion people with a combined GDP of 83 trillion US dollars, and it is a challenge or challenges the G7 dominance, seeking a more just global governance structure. The BRICS and the global South, as I put in my research, it is a resistance against the imperialism and colonialism, which many countries in the global South experience. And as a matter of fact, the ontological concept of global South is that I use in my research. It is those countries that had colonial encounters and countries marginalized by global power structures, and also are countries that shared experience with colonialism and development challenges binds the BRICS together. The BRICS offers alternatives to the global North aid. It represents an anti-Western sentiment, which drives the BRICS popularity nowadays. There's a growing term that has been used in international relations, publications, and in international law, which is connected to disorder. This term has been used a lot during the last year, and I keep asking myself if it is a case of disorder or the emergence of a new order that causes some discomfort to the Western countries. When we looked into the BRICS declarations, all of them, we can draw some conclusions and also to make some inferences as we observe the terms as cooperation, development, security, economic security, transfer of technology, and many terms that are very dear to the global South countries are present in the declaration so far. And when we look to, especially to the Johannesburg II declaration, we see a phenomena, and it's natural because China has been the economic rising of China has been incredible in the last year. So the potential of China's agenda setting power in the BRICS, in other words, how the country or China is going to steer this ship into the waters of global affairs. China's agenda setting in the BRICS reflects the national interests of China, especially multilateralism. And also, it shows, Monica has already touched, and Thomas also mentioned the Belt and Road Initiative as a stance demonstrating China's leadership in this process. When we looked into the Johannesburg Second Declaration, we observe a commitment to multilateralism and upholding international law, enhancing global governance, economic and financial cooperation to address economic challenges, commitment to peaceful resolution of the conflicts, and focus on implementing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The BRICS, then, in terms of global governance as a whole, it represents a challenge to the neoliberal order and offer alternative governance structures. And this is especially true when we looked into China's leadership through the Belt and Road Initiative, or the Global Development Initiative, or the Global Civilization Initiative, the Global Security Initiative. So all of those initiatives brought by China in the United Nations, but also brings it to the BRICS, represents alternatives for us in terms of the international order. So it is important to note the role of BRICS in reshaping the global economy and the political dynamics. Many critics say that, well, the BRICS, there's a lot of critics about the BRICS, right? First of all, there's no formal structure, or now with the more countries entering into the BRICS, this is not good. This was a position sustained by Brazil before coming to this week's summit. But we observed that in this regard, this summit specifically, I would say all the countries, especially, and I'm talking about the founders of BRICS, all of them won. For example, we had India and China cutting a deal to decrease the tensions in their border. That was a big deal. Russia proposed another 13 names of countries to the BRICS, to include in the BRICS. And Vladimir Putin already sustained his support to Dilma Rousseff to renew her term in the BRICS Bank. So yeah, we saw a lot of collaboration, cooperation, and goodwill in terms of moving forward. And just to respond that question about how it is bad for the BRICS to expand too much, but we have to think that one of the objectives of this summit it was to talk about currency exchanges in trade. And if we want to provide an alternative to the dollar, to the US dollar in trade, we have to have more countries deciding to adopt a currency. I'm not talking about abandoning the dollar. It's as of right now, it's impossible. However, as we bring more countries, we give legitimacy to an alternative currency in exchanges. So the BRICS, for me, it can be considered, although there is no formal structure, it can consider an international regime which is composed of norms, rules, and expectations that bind the countries through their declarations and through their summits. So projects like the BRI offer to the global South countries development alternatives. And especially when we talk about the Belt and Road, we hear a lot about and misconceptions, I should say, about the project, the platform of Belt and Road. And I agree with Thomas. Brazil needs to look into successful projects like the China-Pakistani Economic Corridor to see how beneficial the BRI projects were for the country, and not just in terms of infrastructure, because this is another myth that the investments made by China in the countries are imposed. That is not true. I mean, the countries, they have agency to establish what are their priorities in terms of development to receive the investments. So they keep their agency in terms of setting priorities for the Chinese investments through the Belt and Road. And in addition to that, I want to mention that the Belt and Road Initiative, it changed to the Green Belt and Road Initiative recently to incorporate the notion, or I should say, a higher notion of sustainable development, which is based on the ecological civilization principle, which is in the Chinese constitution, and makes China to become one of the drivers for environmental protection. So the BRICS, in conclusion, the BRICS represents a shift towards multipolarity in global governance. Western institutions must engage with BRICS for collaborative solutions to global issues. And also the rise of the BRICS highlights the need for reforms in the global governance for more equitable representation. And I just want to remind us that in the case of Brazil, President Xi Jinping already spoke clearly that Brazil needs to assume the driver's seat in that. And it was an official declaration of him at the end of the summit. So yeah, let's pay attention, especially talking about Brazil, let's pay attention how China is backing up for Brazil to become or to sit at the driver's seat in this regard. Thank you so much. Here is my email and my WeChat QR code. If you want to engage in conversations and collaboration, I will be more than happy. Thanks again for the invitation, Renata.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Gurlos. It was a very impressive presentation, considering a lot of information, statistics, and thoughtful that you thoughts that you provide us. Professor, I have here 2 questions from the audience, so I'd like to do it now. The first question is from Marcelo Farias. He's very concerned about the effective of the COPs, you know, in the role of UN in addressing the climate change challenge. But I read his question, so just to summarize a little bit, so you won't be lost with the longer sentences. Mm-hmm. Okay. In a globalized and connected world, the boundaries between responsibilities are more blurred than ever, and unilateral solutions are doomed to failure. What can be done so that COP21 is fully understood and taken seriously, knowing that this agreement is imperative for the health of our planet, that convulses in agonizing pain, catastrophes that could and will continue, but could be avoided before not this distant Armageddon. So I would like to ask you to talk a little bit about it. I guess, please do it.
Well, I would say that yes, it looks like the United Nations system, it is failing in terms of addressing this issue because of the well, I have to be very because of my research agenda. I tend to look into all the international institutions as Eurocentric and with the ontology and epistemology colonialist and imperialistic. So we need more representation in those international institutions. Take the IMF, for example. I was reading about the green initiative of the IMF. So yeah, they're bringing the green dimension to the loans in the IMF, but they are imposing what I am calling green adjustment conditions, or green conditions as well. So before it was conditions, just conditionalities, right? Neoliberal conditionalities, privatization, and the whole neoliberal menu. And now it is green conditionality. So yeah, it's more of the same. It's more of the same. So we have to talk about how global South countries can develop and how global North countries needs to stop a little bit so we can cope with development, so we can achieve some development, because there's not enough resources in this planet for the United States to keep their level of consumption. Mm-hmm. And Brazil, China, Russia, and other countries to raise the quality of Africa, to raise the quality of life of their citizens. So yeah, it's that's why I've been looking very seriously about I call a theory or a movement called degrowth. Which is basically it is our turn to achieve certain level of development, and in order to do that, you have to stop it. You have to slow down. You have to slow down to the global north. So yeah, and just to conclude here, the other thing is, I would say that as it is right now, the solution, it's in the regions, really. As the BRICS, for example, I tend to see the BRICS as an important regional stabilizer, not only for peace, but also for environmental issues, so including climate change. I hope I responded to the question. It was very, very broad.
Oh, certainly you did it, Professor. Thank you very much. So I have a second question from Fidelis Matos. Can you further discuss how the theory of centers of polarization interconnected to small places can give a greater dynamics to equitable growth and overall productivity?
I'm sorry, Renata, it break it up. Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Can you further discuss how the theory of centers of polarization, teoria dos centros de polarização, interconectados com pequenas cidades ou lugares, assim, países talvez menores, né? Pode dar uma maior dinâmica para um crescimento equitativo e uma produtividade melhor também?
No, I don't. I don't think I think there's a slow death of the influence spheres theory in international relations. As I said, the world as it is today, it is based much more in regional players and actors that can do a lot in terms of working with regional problems and challenges. So I don't think the spheres of influence theory or approach could address how things are right now.
Yes, certainly, Professor. At Ultimates, in a last analysis, the centers of polarization, we need finance. And so where's the money will came? Huh? No, thank you very much, Professor Douglas. I appreciate very much your participation. Okay, so let me start with our fourth distinguished panelist, that is Dr. Natalia Poplavskaya, that is Associate Professor at the Mass Communication Department, Deputy Dean for International Cooperation at the Faculty of Philology at the RUGN University in Russia. In her speech, entitled BRICS Plus Educational Space, is diversity an advantage or an obstacle? She will discuss about the educational aspects of the BRICS Plus community and states that cultural diversity and difference in educational approaches could be not a barrier for the countries, but can add a positive synergetic effect to raise new leaders and professionals. Please, Dr. Natalia, the floor is yours.
Dear colleagues, hello. Thank you very much for giving me a floor. Let me say hello from Russia, where I have just finished a summit of the heads of the BRICS countries and BRICS Plus countries. Sorry for some kind of potential noise that could be, because I'm at the moment at the big conference devoted to the educational future actually in Russia. But so I would like to discuss with you the topic. We have already discussed the main pillars of the BRICS community, including legislative system, economics, growth, and so on. And in my personal opinion, education is one of the these kind of pillars, which are very important to establish a kind of a joint or united space, educational space and economical space, and probably the cultural space and political space. Talking about the difficulties that could be in creating such kind of a common educational environment among our countries. There are main four categories that could be kind of a problems. First of all is, of course, the language barriers, because all of us, we speak different languages, and it is difficult to find the one or two main languages that we should communicate. For instance, right now we are talking English. Sometimes we are talking Portuguese today. I can understand something because I was learning Spanish some years ago, but possibly we will speak Russian or Chinese in the future. Who knows? Another problem in different languages is the translation of the main educational and scientific achievements in course books in different languages. But probably this problem could be solved very soon using the AI technologies that actually could do with different types of text, practically everything already right now. Another problem is the different educational approaches and different standards of education, different accreditations of the programs. So even if we are studying, if we are teaching, for instance, future journalists in Russia or in Brazil or in China or in Egypt or in other countries, probably we have different in our heads, we have different pictures on who is the modern journalist today. The third important problem or issue is the difference of our culture, of our values, beliefs, of our cultural codes, of our ways of teaching and learning. Because, for instance, if I'm teaching the Chinese students and they are sitting in the classroom and I'm asking a question to the audience, probably I will have no answer from them, because in their educational culture, it is not allowed to speak without the personal invitation to speak from the teacher. And if I don't know these cultural differences, probably I would think that these students have nothing to say, which is totally incorrect. And of course, there are some kind of different organizational difficulties and challenges, because the management system of educational organization and institutions, because it is different to find some funding for joint or international or multinational educational projects and programs. Sometimes it is complicated to get a visa to travel from one country to another, participating in some specific cultural or educational or research events. But at the same time, I can say that actually there are already a lot of things that were made to overcome these obstacles and to find the common ground for our educational systems and for our research systems. So the first and the basic document in this area is the Memorandum of Cooperation in the field of science, technology, and innovation that was signed in 2015. And in this document, there were main areas of cooperation mentioned, like food security and sustainable agriculture, climate change, new and renewable energy sources, space and earth observation, medicine and biotechnology, high-tech zones, and technological transfer. So there are already main areas of scientific cooperation that were established and mentioned. And also in these documents, the main forms of cooperation were indicated. They are such as specialist exchange programs, organization of practical seminars, symposium and conferences, implementation of joint programs and projects, creation of co-financing mechanisms, joint competitions and cooperation between national scientific engineering and research organizations. So that is the institutional basis for the potential mutual work. Researchers and educational specialists from different countries in BRICS Plus and BRICS space. Another important theme is the multilateral agreement on the creation of the Association of Scientific and Educational Centers of the BRICS countries. And the main goal of these activities was to strengthen the common scientific and educational space of BRICS countries. There were also main areas mentioned in this document, like creation of an international ranking of universities based on fair measurement of the quality education, because all of us knows such ranking systems like QS or Times Higher Education. Probably there is a time to establish something new. Another important field of cooperation mentioned in this document is the development of academic exchanges, promotion of the best educational technologies in the BRICS countries, creation and development of joint scientific projects, support for cooperation between technology, and support for social movements that unite young people from the BRICS countries, support for talented youth and young leaders. And we can see that since 2015, when this process was just started, a lot of things were already done. Like, for instance, there are a program of the flagship projects which are financed by the governments of the BRICS countries. And from 2015, there were already more than 90 research and development projects united different countries to work together on the very important and strategic scientific areas of research. Another way of development our mutual educational space is the support for young scientists. And in that case, I would like to mention the program which is called the Forum of Young Innovators of the BRICS countries, when the best young researchers could show their main research outcomes that they have, and they can find the support for their future scientific work. Another important thing is the BRICS Grain platform that was created by the initiative of Russia. And this platform provides access to mega science projects to the science from BRICS countries. And when it was just established, Russia has presented 6 existing infrastructure facilities, Brazil 4, India 6, China 4, South Africa 1, and at the moment, several additional research infrastructure facilities are being developed in South Africa, India, and Brazil, and some more in Russia. The main forums of the interaction in the area of education and research among our countries were mostly different types of forums and events, like our today's event too. So for instance, the BRICS Academic Forum was held firstly in 2009, and now it is a regular event, which goal is to expand contacts between academic and scientific centers, research, and higher institutions of the main countries. Another very important project is the BRICS Network University, which was established in 2015, and now it already has elaborated its legislative basis and all the documents that regulate the processes of short-term and long-term international exchange programs, double degree programs, and other types of exchange activities and research activities. Or BRICS Young Scientist Forum, which is also a platform for young scientists, which main goal is to expand contacts between the best researchers and scientific centers among our countries. And rather new but very interesting form of interaction is the BRICS Science Popularizers. That is a kind of a platform which are trying to bring together communicators, educators, and enthusiasts. And in the last in the forum in 2024, there were more than 3,500 participants from Brazil, India, China, Russia, and South Africa who took part in this project. We can see that already a very good indicator is the joint publications of our authors. And the amount of joint publications increased dramatically from 2000 and 2015, because now we have more, it increased in 2.4 times in 80 years. And there are a lot of collaborative research projects. And of course, these joint publications and joint research lead to dissemination of the best knowledge and the best practices that we have already in our countries and which we can share. Talking about the future, I would like to say that probably there are main 3 steps or main 3 pillars that could help us to make our educational cooperation and our educational space more solid, I can say. So first of all is to identify the thematic priorities for our research centers and for our scholars. Then we need also to understand the functional priorities and to work on the human capital, to work on promotion, the industrial production of innovative technologies, and to find mechanisms to support fundamental research and development. Because again, one of the main questions is where is money, where we can find them. And of course, we need to work on the infrastructure development to work more on establishing these mega science projects, data centers, or mirror laboratories using the best practices in our countries, because each of our countries has some very specific areas in which they are really brilliant, I mean, in research. So we just need to put everything together. We have discussed a lot the challenges. I would like to finish with the benefits of our educational space, because our cultural differences are not only our problem, and maybe it is not our problem at all, it is our big advantage, because we have diverse cultures and we have diverse points of view, and we can look at the same object from different angles. And in that case, there is a kind of a synergetic way of creating some new knowledge, because we can help and support each other in finding new solutions which probably would not be seen from the perspective of the Russian scholar or Brazilian scholar or Chinese scholar. Another benefit is our creativity, because again, we have diverse backgrounds. So it helps us to create new ideas and to find new solutions for the problems that exist in our countries. And the last but not the least is sharing our best practices and combine some good and maybe best parts from our educational systems. Because, for instance, Russian education system has a lot of things in common with the Chinese one, but maybe differ a little bit from the Egyptian or from Brazilian. But still, all of us has our priorities, and we need to find these best practices and try to use them, to share them maybe not to make everything united and unified, because we're very different, really, but just to implement some parts from our mosaic will help us to make our culture, our educational space more diverse and more effective that we have right now. So I think that that's all that I would like to share with you today. Again, thank you very much for this opportunity, because that is my virtual way of being in Brazil. I was in Egypt this spring. I have just returned from Beijing 3 days ago, and now that is my virtual travel to Brazil. Thank you very much.
I thank you very much, Dr. Natalia. You brought to us very important insights about the need for educational and the cultural integration, but respecting our differences. And so I guess is one of the main characteristics of the BRICS. Countries are exchanging information, trying to bring about better development conditions for its people. But, you know, I guess you don't need to worry about Russian contributions for culture, but, you know, you already gave us Dostoevsky and Gogol and Tolstoy. For me, it's more than enough. I can tell you.
I just hope that we will bring something new in a modern life too.
Thank you. No, they were something. Thank you very much, Dr. Natalia. It was a pleasure to hear you. So let's start with our last guest, but not less important. To tell you the truth, I'm really excited and have you, Sarah, with us. Sarah Al-Madi is an Emirate senior researcher in the Strategic Studies Department at the Trends Research and Advisory, with background experience in the Emirates Center for Strategic Study and Research, specialized in geopolitical affairs. So, Sarah, the floor is yours. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, and thank you all for your valuable input. I would like to start on the UAE's perspective on multilateralism. The UAE policy traditionally rests on increasing multilateralism and coordination common position among external actors. Recent actions on hosting major global events such as Expo 2020 and COP28 are enriched in the idea of multilateralism and global inclusivity. The UAE believes that multilateralism is a principal pathway to peaceful external relations and a stable society and a prosperous economy as well, and overall peace globally. So the vision of multilateralism promoted by the UAE envisions that the country as having a bridging role in the construction of peaceful relations. I will move forward to the think tank perspectives on multilateralism, and I will talk a little bit on Trend's role. With regard to the global governments, our message is similar, is that the multilateralism dialogue will always be the cornerstone of success. Think tanks also act as a platform of dialogue and collaboration among various stakeholders and government and businesses, and civil society as well to tackle urgent and social economic issues. So we also play a similar role in bridging the gap between academia and policy and translating scientific research into actionable suggestions that can drive positive social change. As we know, global challenges are increasing, particularly in the fields of geopolitics and geoeconomics. And since there's challenges that affect most countries, the logical solution is to cooperate and develop multilateral approaches and solutions. So recently, just 2 days ago, Trends launched an initiative to create BRICS Plus think tanks economic studies platform on the sidelines of the 2024 BRICS summit in Russia. And the initiative emphasized on the need to expand roles of think tanks and media to play a vital role also in supporting public policies and crafting innovative strategies for sustainable development and enhancing international cooperation among BRICS plus nations. I would also want to mention that the next summit of these think tanks of BRICS plus will also happen next year, inshallah, in Brazil. Also, I want to mention that the expansion of BRICS Plus with the inclusion of 6 members also in the beginning of the year marked a significant milestone in the organization evaluation. It reflected a strategic move of the organization towards creating a more influential and diversified collusion, positioning BRICS Plus as the key player in shaping global economics and geopolitical landscape. With the inclusion of the UAE and Saudi Arabia and Iran, BRICS Plus now represents 80% of the global oil production. And it's not only solidifies its economic strength, it also, by comprising this a sustainable share of global GDP and critical resources, but also reinforce its commitment towards fostering a multipolar world order. I know the move is aligning also with the growing disconnect of the existing international order and present an alternative, as the previous doctor mentioned, present an alternative platform for emerging nations to address pressing issues. These pressing issues, of course, including trade imbalances, income inequality, and currency dominance. And I would like to finish up with, as BRICS Plus embarks on this new phase, the expectation is that it will leverage its enhanced collective influence to advocate for more meaningful reforms in the global political and economic and financial order. Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh,
I think I went very fast.
Yes, I was just about to mention it. But no, Sarah, thank you very much for your presentation. You know, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about why United Arab Emirates decided to join BRICS.
I mean, as I mentioned, the UAE strongly supports the multilateralism and the collective work and a more diverse world. That's why we see like many partnership with different countries and nations, especially in the rising global south.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
No, please go ahead if you want. If you
it's okay. It's in the same context. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sarah. It was very nice to have you. I believe I do believe that BRICS will still continue to growing with more countries joining the initiative. Thank you very much for your participation with us.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have reached the end of this panel, and I'd like to thank you, our distinguished panelists, for their contributions, and thank you, of course, to all the audience that stayed with us during these two hours. Before we finish, I'd like to remember you to kindly ask you to attend the closing meeting, the closing section of the conference that will be at 2 p.m. in the same link. So thank you very much. It was really a pleasure and an honor to have you all here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.